That red lipstick you've had in your cart for weeks? Did you know it played a major role in helping women get the right to vote? That winged eyeliner you've been perfecting for years. Bet you didn't know it was made popular by one of the most badass women who ever lived. We love makeup, and not just because we're all about the aesthetic. We know beauty is powerful. It's been used to oppress and resist oppression. Hi, beauty besties. In this video mini-series, I'm gonna take you on a fascinating journey into the world of beauty and activism. So pause the contouring tutorial, put down the beauty blender, hit that follow button, and let's get learning. I was kidding about the beauty blender. Play this video while you paint. We're kicking off this history tour with the most legendary cosmetic of all time. Red lipstick. It doesn't matter whether you're a matte, velvet, or gloss girly. We can all appreciate the role that red lipstick has played in feminist and queer activism and liberation. What role, you might ask? First, let's travel thousands of years back in time to ancient Egypt. If you instantly thought of the OG Queen Cleopatra, you get a gold star. Our girl Cleo was the absolute definition of girl boss. She used a delicious recipe of crushed bugs to get her scarlet pout. Back then, red lipstick was a status symbol that signaled power, as it was worn only by the upper class. By the 17th century, that's the 1600s for those of you who can't do math, red lipstick was seen as a sign that a woman was either a witch or a sex worker. If a woman was caught wearing it, she would be put on trial and unalived. So it wasn't very popular during this time. That didn't stop another famous female royal from wearing it, though. I'm talking about Queen Elizabeth I. Like Cleo, it was basically unheard of during that time for a woman to be as powerful as Elizabeth was. Lizzie loved her ruby pout, and it's said that she wore it to ward off evil spirits. She was even buried while wearing her signature red lip. If that isn't iconic, then we don't know what is. And then Queen Victoria happened. She ruled England during most of the 1800s. She had the audacity to say that makeup was impolite, which was rude of her, actually. And she straight up made it illegal. We do not stand Vicky. So lipstick remained unacceptable in society for a hot minute. Women knew this, and by the time the 1900s rolled around, the girls decided to make the most of it. How? Well, if you haven't heard of the suffragettes, I'm gonna give you a quick rundown. Basically, women had no right to vote during any of the periods I mentioned, if voting was even an option. They were pretty dang angry that men held all the power to shape society, and they decided that had to change. So they began protesting, first in America and then in England. In both countries, many were beaten, arrested, and thrown into jail. It was really, really bad. Nevertheless, they persisted. And while they persisted, they wore red lipstick as an act of defiance and rebellion. That shocked and upset men, which naturally only increased lipstick's power. It became so popular during this time that Elizabeth Arden, yes, that Elizabeth Arden, handed out tubes of the stuff to suffragettes who marched down New York's famous Fifth Avenue. Eventually, their hard work and sacrifice paid off, and women got the right to vote. However, it wasn't all women. When talking about women's liberation, we can't forget that race and class have always been a part of the struggle. Women of color weren't given the same rights until many decades later. In fact, red lips were weaponized against Black women as a way to hypersexualize and dehumanize them. Many Black women reclaimed red lipstick as a celebration of their femininity rather than a mockery of it. Red lipstick soon became widely accepted across the West. Its association with power and resilience only grew during the Second World War, when women working in factories wore it to boost each other's spirits. I'm sure you've seen the famous Rosie the Riveter poster that was spread everywhere during this period. Yes, that one. Notice her fab lips? This was also the first time that many women had to or even could work, which meant it was the first time they made their own money and didn't have to rely on a man. We love to see it. No conversation about lipstick would be complete, though, without mentioning the LGBTQIA+ community. Historically, American law enforcement specifically targeted men and gender non-conforming people who wore makeup, especially lipstick. These folks used a tool of oppression as a tool of solidarity, using it to show other members of the queer community that they were safe around each other. Simply wearing makeup at all was an act of resistance in itself. Makeup was used to rebel and build safe spaces. This kind of unity eventually led to the famous Stonewall riots of 1969, which took the fight for equality for queer people mainstream. To this day, red lipstick remains a symbol of strength and power. There's no better way to feel like a bad bee than slapping on some lippy and hitting the streets. Well, that's all we've got for you today, but be sure to stay tuned for the next episode, where we'll be looking at how eye makeup was used in activism. Bye!